Hello and welcome to the United Forum. This is your latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and your opportunity to voice your opinion out for the very first time in Sri Lanka. I'm live today once again at 10 p.m. on the dot for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's pre-match press conference, and with all honesty, I did expect to say on tonight's show it's gonna be Antonio Conte's pre-match press conference or Zinedine Zidane's pre-match press conference, or in other words Erik ten Hag's pre-match press conference, or any other manager that potentially should or could have been Manchester United's manager after the poor run of form and that final thrashing from Liverpool. But no, very unfortunately, very unfortunately, I have to say this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's pre-match press conference. Last week, Manchester United were thrashed 5-0 against Liverpool, and to be honest, right after the game, the next morning, I've been on my phone, I've been refreshing my feeds, waiting to see that announcement saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sacked. Instead, I see the press coming out and saying that the Manchester United board is back in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that in fact, Sir Alex Ferguson has been speaking to the board as well. He too wants Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be back. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be in charge of not just the Tottenham game tomorrow, but also the next 3 games, including Tottenham Hotspur. That is Tottenham Hotspur, Atalanta, the Champions League game, and then the Manchester Derby against Manchester City. Listen, there are standards to this club. Any club, I'll tell you what, any club, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, would have definitely sacked their manager after that poor run of form and a final defeat in their home ground against their biggest rival. And not just Manchester City, not just Liverpool, not just Chelsea, I'll tell you what, even Leicester City would have sacked Brendan Rodgers after a 5-0 defeat after a poor run of form. Not even Leicester, I think even Tottenham Hotspur would have considered sacking their manager, whoever it may be, after a poor run of form and after a 5-0 defeat against Arsenal, which is known to be their derby as well. And you've seen, and now you just witnessed Manchester United standards, if not the Glazers standards, who are the owners of Manchester United, who decide to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after a 5-0 defeat at Old Trafford, the so-called fortress, against Liverpool, and that too after taking just 1 point out of 12 points, when this is known to be the season that Manchester United, having one of the best squads in Europe, should be challenging for that title. I'll tell you what, I told you long time back that this title race is definitely over. I told that we are in a race, a top 4 race now. I'll tell you what, if we go on like this, I'll tell you what, there's no top 4 race. It's not yet. We still have the chance for that top 4 race. Depends on the results this week, and also that Manchester Derby. Definitely Tottenham Hotspur, Atalanta, since it is a Champions League game, won't play a huge role, but definitely on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. Considering the Premier League top 4 race, there's no connection since it's a Champions League game, but definitely Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester City, and the games to come, Chelsea. We've got a few other games as well. These games are going to matter. If we bottle up these few games which are coming up, I'll tell you what, don't even think of a title race. That shouldn't even be in your head. A title race shouldn't be even thought by a Manchester United fan at this moment of time. Yes, you can consider a top 4 race, but if things go on like this, I'll tell you what, there is no top 4 race, but definitely a top 6 race, and we might even be fighting on that mid-table, with all honesty, to see the way things are going at the moment. And to start off with the press conference, the first question that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as usual, terrifying. This has been the toughest week for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and how does it feel about this being the toughest week for you as the Manchester United manager? I'll tell you what, why ask that question from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why not ask him, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you being the Manchester United manager, why not ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ole, do birds have legs? Do birds have wings? Because this being the toughest week for you, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, how does it feel? Seriously, definitely the fans know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is having one of the toughest weeks in his managerial career. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself knows it, the press knows it, and also the players themselves know it as well. And about the players, there are a lot of things that have been leaked from that Manchester United dressing room about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing the players, Cristiano Ronaldo coming out and saying the rest of the players not to lose faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to back the manager until there is a change. And definitely, to start off with the pre-match press conference, the first question, like I told you, that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about this being the toughest week for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager of Manchester United, and what it feels like. And what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say, I hate, to be honest, I do hate quoting this up for you guys. A stupid question, to be honest. This being the toughest week and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's feelings, really. Definitely his feeling safe, on top of the world, having the job of his life, getting the money is still coming, the cash is still coming into his bank account. I'm having one of the best weeks. I've got one of the best squads in Europe. Yes, I know I lost 5-0 to Liverpool, but I've definitely been breaking a few records as well. I'm the first manager to concede 4 goals, in fact 4 goals in the first half, considering Manchester United to be trailing by 4 goals, in other words. And also, I am the first manager of Manchester United to allow a player to complete a hat-trick at Old Trafford. It's the first time Manchester United have been thrashed like this by their biggest rival. Tell you what, the guy who asked me this question, I'm feeling on top of the world and it's been a good week. Yeah, 30 players in training, good week, definitely. Terrible questions. I actually feel that these questions are being scripted. Definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is being given some awareness about the question, that these are the type of questions that are going to come to you. You'll have to focus on this, because most of these questions are focused on that Liverpool game as well. There are so many questions you can ask. You can ask about the tactics, you can ask about the players not backing you, about you as the manager losing that dressing room. So many questions out there you could ask from him, and you decide to ask him how it feels to be going through this toughest week in your managerial career. And what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say regarding this is, it's been a difficult week. We've had to deal with the result and performance against Liverpool, which we know wasn't good enough. He also said, we've had a good week on the training field. We need a reaction. It is my job. In fact, what he did say is, it is my job as well to put the players in the right frame of mind. You have to look forward to the next game, make sure you are ready, and when you get to that next game, sort it out and challenge the problems. We've had a good week on the training field, is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say. So he says that it's actually a little weird that he says they've had a good week on the training field with all that's been coming out, because the press has been coming out saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not being backed by the players. He is losing the dressing room. A section of the players still back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, while a few other players are not satisfied with the tactics, not satisfied with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not happy with the coaching. A few players coming out and saying that Kieran McKenna's coaching is good enough for a coaching team of a school team, in fact, a coaching team for a school soccer team instead of Manchester United. This is the level and standard Manchester United have dropped down to. It's such a shame, to be honest, and it's not one of the best press conferences, to be honest. I think so far this is the worst. There were a few good questions, but to be honest, I'm really not satisfied with this press conference, and I've never been satisfied with the press conference that have been with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I feel the questions are not up They're playing, even the journalists out there, like I told, I feel this is scripted, and they too are playing that safe game. They don't want to go in at the manager. Definitely something to do with Manchester United there too as well, because these journalists get their info from Manchester United, so they do know that if they do go at the manager, it would create a bad image on them, and that way they might lose the opportunity to get the information out as well. And to start off, the next question that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about the players needing to be in the right frame of mind. Somewhat that was the context of the question, and what Solskjaer Ole did have to say is that we definitely need a reaction, and it is my job as well to put the players into the right frame of mind, like he repeated previously as well. I'm responsible for the reaction, the result, the performance. We've worked on the pitch, worked on everything that needs to be sorted for a footballer. He also says it's not just the frame of mind, it's the approach, strategy, game plan, and tactics. Technically, in fact, a game plan, tactics, technically, we've had a good week, and I feel the boys are ready to give their best as they always do. The performance, nothing went to plan, and that was nowhere near our best. And what he says here, worked on everything that needs to be sorted for a footballer. If you are talking about the players, let me tell you what. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's nothing wrong with the players out there. There's nothing to be sorted out for those players out there as a footballer, because these players are good players. Everything that is going wrong is in your coaching, is in those tactics. Manchester United, I've been saying this plenty of times, that Manchester United lack a brand of football. They don't have a style of play. The coaching has been shite, and so the coaching and tactics too have been below par as well. In fact, not below par, but even below that. And he also says it's not just the frame of mind, it's the approach, strategy, game plan, tactics. Technically, we've had a good week, and I feel the boys are ready to give their best as they always do. Tactics, I really hope you are going to turn this around, because people keep comparing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's situation to Alex Ferguson's situation in 1989. In 1989, Alex Ferguson's time at Manchester United looked to be precarious, and that is what it is looking for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well at the moment. His job at Manchester United seems to be very precarious. So there are comparisons between the situation of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Alex Ferguson. If you want to change that, to talk about Alex Ferguson being backed and turning things around and ultimately getting those trophies to Manchester United, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to turn things around, definitely not as much as Sir Alex Ferguson. You never know, maybe even more than that, but to get to that first step of things where Alex Ferguson turned things around, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first steps will be bringing that brand of football for Manchester United. He'll have to bring a style of play. Coaching has to be much more better. Tactics have to be much more better. These 4 points, these 4 essentials in one match within a short period of time. He's had 1 week, almost 1 week between, that is 6 days between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. So he's got to change everything, and I hope and pray he's changed those things if he wants to change things around, because if you are going to play the same brand of football, trust me, Ole, no one's going to back you, because the fans have turned on you already. 90%, 80 to 90% of the fans have turned on you. They want you out. I don't know what's really happening in that club. The standards have gone down really low, and I don't know what to say really. To be honest, the standards have gone down even below Fulham. Fulham managed, in fact, sack their managers as soon as they're relegated. In fact, fighting for top 4 is like fighting for relegation is like fighting for top 4 for Fulham. So when you are below top 4, when you are below relegation for Fulham, they sack their manager. Watford have their standards. When the managers go on a shaky run of form, they sack their managers as well. You saw with Sheffield United the first season. In fact, Sheffield United, the first season they were promoted, they were almost top 6, top 10 was it? Not quite sure. The manager has been one of the best managers, respected by the fans, yet once they were relegated, they managed to sack Chris Wilder. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard, and I really don't know what is happening in this at this football club at the moment. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not deserve to be on that job. Definitely an Antonio Conte, Zinedine Zidane, Eric Ten Hag. Definitely some other manager should be on that touchline on Saturday against Tottenham Hotspur. And I really don't understand how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has his job at this moment. That's how low the standards have gone. You as a fan, I as a Manchester United fan definitely know that the standards have dropped. The tactics are not there. The brand of football is not there. The style of play is not there. The coaching is not up to standards. And we definitely understand that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the man for the job. When we as fans understand this, I really don't understand why people at the hierarchy in Manchester United don't understand this. Why the likes of Gary Neville still back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Gary Neville played in an era where winning was everything. You can't take anything below that. You have to be the champion. Each and every year you challenge for that title. Second place is no victory. You have to challenge for that title. You have to get to that title. Gary Neville playing in that era, I really don't understand why he still backs Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because if you have played in an era where winning was everything to you, definitely it's clearly evident, it's right in front of your eyes that nothing is going in plan for Manchester United, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the manager. Yet the fact that they opt for their mate before the club is really disappointing, because football plays with emotions. As fans, us being fans, definitely football plays a huge role in our emotions. And to be honest, the last whole week has been devastating for me. I'll move on to the next question as well. So the next question that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about speaking to Sir Alex Ferguson, and if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself can come out of this situation like Alex Ferguson. During the past week, throughout the week, it was reported that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that Sir Alex Ferguson had visited Carrington during training and spoken to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A few moments later, a few other journalists, they'd come out and say that Sir Alex Ferguson did not have any conversation with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He had come on to fit in a new suit or something like that, and he had not cited Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's interesting because it's two stories, and throughout last week, every story has been changing. Boom, 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 boom. Because today they say that the skies are blue, it won't rain. A few hours later, they say no, it is going to rain since it's quite cloudy. They say that the patient is totally fine. A few minutes later, the patient is dead. Not quite sure what is actually going on in that club, to be honest. Even the journalists, even the reports that come out keep changing from time to time. Today they say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked. Antonio Conte, the talks are going right now as well. Talks ongoing between Manchester United and Antonio Conte. A few moments later they come out and say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. Manchester United just kill you with hope. If you are a Manchester United fan, I really feel for you. And I too am in the same boat as you are. And what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say about Sir Alex Ferguson coming on and speaking to him, and will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be able to come out of this situation? What he did say is yes, on both accounts, if that's short and sweet. Joking apart, we had a commercial day. Sir Alex came for some commercial stuff. We spoke for a brief moment because he was in there with Cristiano. I wonder what Sir Alex Ferguson had to say to Cristiano. Definitely, I hope and pray it was Ronnie. Do you think Ole is the right manager? Definitely, that was not the conversation, because as of reports that did come out of the press, that Sir Alex Ferguson does want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be backed. And what Solskjaer further did have to say is that I've been through some very bad moments as a player. here, and when I've been a manager, I've dealt with setbacks. There have been 2 or 3 crises at least since I became manager here, and one thing I can say is I'll always give it a good shot and fight back. And like he does say here, he has been through these situations previously as well, in the past few seasons as well. He has been in situations where people doubt him and call out for him to be sacked, but then again he's come out and produced those results. You've seen against Manchester City how he did manage to win against Pep Guardiola about 3 times as well. He did manage to come over Frank Lampard a few times as well the past few seasons, and he has managed to come out and get out of these pressure situations, and that is what we as Manchester United fans did expect this bad run of form Manchester United did have as well. And I think those cracks that were covered by papers have been taken off. What I really think is that Manchester United have been found out. People have figured out Manchester United, how they are going to play. The fact that they rely on individual moments, the players who create these individual moments, who they have to mark, who takes the shots. It's Bruno Fernandes running all around, about Bruno Fernandes being frustrated, about Cristiano Ronaldo. The fact that our fullbacks are weak, they don't provide enough service. We have Ronaldo who will need service. They know that Ronaldo does not press. We've been figured out. Manchester United definitely have been figured out. And the reason for this is the lack of coaching and the lack of tactics. Definitely these 2 things are not there, and definitely a style of play or a brand of football for Manchester United is nowhere to be seen. And definitely Manchester United have been figured out, like I did tell you as well. And yes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't come out of this rough patch, this bad run of form. Definitely deserves the sack. I'm not quite sure what makes him deserve this job at the moment. Do send in your comments, your thoughts, your opinions, your questions, anything Manchester United related on that live chat as well. And the next question, I'll move on to the next question. The next question that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about what this week has been like for him as well. This question was from Andy Mitten, and what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say is, I've been through some very bad moments as a player here, and when I've been a manager, I've dealt with setbacks, and there have been 2 or 3 crises at least since I became manager here. And one thing I can say is I'll always give it a good shot and fight back. I did read that as well. What he further said is, for example, I don't read social media. This was something about Paul Pogba, the situation about Paul Pogba, about the Sun giving out a false report on Paul Pogba. And what Solskjaer did have to say in this, for an example, I don't read social media, but when Paul Pogba came up to me angry, we expect to be criticized. Hands up, the performance wasn't good enough. We don't expect, we can't accept when lies are made up. He also said Paul Pogba did tell me what he put up on social media. We are better than that as a group. The culture environment is better. We can't stand for blatant lies. They've got to stand up and say so. He also said all the opinions and reports are fine, but don't make up lies about players, is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did come out and say. Once again, not the best of questions to be asking about Paul Pogba's situation. Really, a player who is not willing to sign a contract for you. What Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did try and do there is cover up the cracks once again with Paul Pogba, a player who isn't willing to sign that contract for Manchester United as well. Paul Pogba is banned for the next 3 matches after the red card as well. And it's sort of a PR spin there by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to bring something positive and put in that blame on social media. It was as if he went all out on social media about his false reports. Things shouldn't be happening like this. Once again, not related to this week, to be honest. Yes, it did happen this week. Paul Pogba came out, he reported that it is a false report as well. So let's end this there. There are better questions out there to be asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and to be asking questions like this, to be honest, is really disappointing. And the next question that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about the press coming out with the reports. What is the situation in the dressing room? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing that dressing room? And since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is told to be clinging onto his job, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's thoughts on this as well. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not answer this question quite well. He was taking his answer quite away from that question. There was no direct answer about him losing the dressing room and about his job being under scrutiny. What Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say is, I think I've answered that. Not quite sure where he did that. The players come in, proper professionals come in, good people, do their best. We have an environment in and around the place, loads of respect for each other. When you come in for criticism, like you do, you come into the trenches with your teammates. That's the reaction I've seen, whatever this club has been through before. It's always about getting through with courage, togetherness, self-belief, sticking together, and this group has done that. What he says here definitely does not answer that question. So the question he was asked about the press coming out with the reports of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing the dressing room, about him clinging on to that job as Manchester United manager, and tell me where you find an answer to that question. You can clip it up where I did read Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's quote. Clip it up and tell me where you find the answer to that question. Once again, about the press conference as a whole, I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was not the best. He did not look like a manager whose job is under scrutiny. He did not look like a manager who is under pressure. He did not look like a manager who is losing his dressing room and might be sacked by the day after tomorrow. He looked like a manager who looked quite calm, quite cool, with smile in his face, a few jokes here and there, as well. Definitely did not look like a manager who is under pressure and is said to be losing the dressing room and his players as well. Definitely did not look like a manager as that. And definitely I'll get you the next question. Definitely that, I'm not quite sure why I did say definitely, but the next question from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in fact that was asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is from Michael Gray, and what he did have to say is if there has been any home truce. And what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did have to say is, of course you have to hold hands up, and that performance is not acceptable. Definitely it's not acceptable, and we have to look at why it was not acceptable and why it went as it did. And here in this quote he uses an analogy, and he takes up Tyson Fury. Not quite sure why he did that. It's all over the place, this press conference for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he was not up there. Definitely he was not up there as well. He was trying to get the attention of him as well. I thought he was putting these questions away, erasing that carpet, sweeping it all under that carpet instead of taking your dirt and throwing it out onto that bin. He erases that carpet and throws it under the carpet, is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did try to do. And what he did have to say, let me continue with that quote as well. I used the analogy, it felt like we were a boxer being punched drunk, knocked down in the first 4 minutes or in the first round. We had a chance, we conceded a goal, we wanted to sort it out, and went a bit too open and too frantic against a good team. You see Tyson Fury when he gets knocked down a couple of times, it's remarkable. He also did say how calm and composed he is on the floor. Counts to 6, 7, 8, and he gets up and goes again. We got up too early and tried to sort out our minds. Sorted minds have to be better, but we've had to look at different things as well. The communication has to be direct. Quite a less number of questions asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this week comparing to the previous weeks, where he is asked about 10 to 11 questions, and today he was asked only 7 questions. I'll get to that as well. What he did say is about this Tyson Fury, about Manchester United having a couple of chances, and yeah, we had a chance, we conceded a goal, we wanted to sort it out, and we went a bit too open and too frantic against a good team. I think what he meant there is that Manchester United did concede a goal and they wanted to counter on that, and they acted too fast, and what he should have done is maybe become more defensive, nicked up a goal and played for that draw, I think is what he tried to mean there as well. Listen, should haves, could haves, you always can talk about the should haves and could haves of a game right after the game. It's about the decision you make in the game. At that moment, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did want to do is attack once again and get to that goal, score a goal, get over the line. And that's what he tried to do. About the should haves and could haves, it's really irrelevant, because you should have done that in the game then instead of coming here, because you know, a murderer can go kill another person. A murderer can go kill someone and say, I shouldn't have killed him, I should have threatened him. Or in fact, he should have said, I shouldn't have shot him, I should have stabbed him. And if I had shot him, if I had stabbed him, it wouldn't have brought attention, because when you shoot a person, the noise of the gun brings attention, and therefore there are chances that a murderer gets caught committing the murder. It's as if he's giving an excuse as such, because could haves and should haves, it's of no use. Whether you should have stood up a bit later, a bit earlier after that goal that was conceded is irrelevant. It's about how you react at that moment of time. So once again, poor from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For me, totally, this press conference as a whole has been poor from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's been trying to cover those cracks with paper, and that's what the journalists too have been doing. There are better questions out there. He should have, in fact, the journalists should have been asking from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and instead of those questions, you see very silly and a safe type of questions coming in at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Questions that are sort of irrelevant. The Liverpool game is done, past. Leave that aside and talk about the things that have been happening this week. The reports. Yes, there have been a few questions that have been quite decent, but about this week, about this being the toughest week, Paul Pogba, that PR spin and all that is quite irrelevant in my opinion. In fact, instead of those questions, you could ask about the tactics, about the brand of play. It's been 3 years since you have been managing Manchester United, starting as the interim boss, and fans still say that there is no brand of football, there is no style of play. Questions on the coaching, criticism is on Kieran McKenna about him being a coach suitable for a school soccer team. Questions on that. Where are the tactics? Where's the blend of play? Why are there reports saying that you are losing the dressing room? Reports saying that a few players backing you, a few players not backing you. What is happening actually out there? Are a few questions you can actually ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But instead of asking these questions, you've got the journalists asking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if birds have got wings, which is really frustrating to see as a Manchester United fan as well. Sharon says hi, hello to everyone. each and every one of you out there as well. And if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to our channel. We are at 135 subscribers, 15 away from 150. So let's get to that 150 mark as soon as possible as well. So do share this video, give this video a like, and turn that notification button on as well, so you are notified whenever the United Forum is live. Moving on to score predictions and lineups as well. So do send in your predictions on the live chat, your score predictions on the live chat, and if you do get it correct, like I always tell you, I'll give you a shout out on the next show and on our Instagram channel as well. I've got my predicted lineup as well. As you can see on screen, this is my predicted lineup, and as you can see here as well, I've got Luke Shaw once again on the left back. I think Alex Telles deserves to start considering Luke Shaw's form, but definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager, we know him. So yes, it won't be Alex Telles, it'll be Luke Shaw left back. Rafael Varane is back in training, so yes, he'll be that starting centre back. Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Scott McTominay, and Fred. Because if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to change things around, definitely he'll be bringing Pogba, but Pogba is out since he did get that red card, so definitely he'll start with Scott McTominay and Fred, unless he really thinks of going with Van de Beek and Nemanja Matic. So that is why I've gone with Scott McTominay and Fred, knowing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer favours them. Marcus Rashford on the left wing, Bruno Fernandes centre attack and midfielder, Cristiano Ronaldo as usual our striker. And I think for a change, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will do is bring in Jadon Sancho on the right, and maybe put Mason Greenwood on the bench as well. So that is my prediction for the match tomorrow, and my score predictions will be 3-1 to United. There we go, write it down. 3-1 to Manchester United is my prediction as well. Do send in your predictions on the live chat, and if you do get it right, I'll give you a shout out the next show and on our Instagram page. In fact, that is pretty much it for today's show, folks. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's pre-match press conference, and to be honest, I'm really frustrated at the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the Manchester United job, is still the manager of Manchester United. And if you have your doubts if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked after the Tottenham Hotspur game, I'll tell you what, expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be the Manchester United manager, even if he loses the next 3 games. If there will be a change, I think it will be the international break after the Manchester City game, and definitely not after the Tottenham Hotspur game, unless the Glazers think out of the box and realize that they are doing a mistake, which I don't think will happen. Do follow us on our Instagram page as well. There you go, that is the username, the united.forum. The link's in the description as well, so do go head out to our description and hit that link as well. And if you want new, do give us a subscribe, give this video a like, and share it out to your friends, colleagues, and get them to subscribe as well. Let's get to 150 subscribers. The road is we're on our way to 1,000. That's the target as of now, so do get us to 150. Let's take it baby steps, one step at a time. 150, 200, 253, 354, and so on, and maybe yes, one day up there at 1,000 as well. Definitely Manchester United will be playing Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow at 10 p.m. so do tune in and watch that game as well. It will be an interesting game. It's going to be a weird week, a weird few months for Manchester United fans as well. It's actually the first time I'll be seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managing that Manchester United team when he does not deserve to be the Manchester United manager, in my opinion as well. So until I see you on Sunday at 10 p.m. for the match reaction and player ratings, have a good night, a blessed weekend, and a blessed week ahead as well. And until I see you on Sunday at 10 p.m. for the match reaction and player ratings, This is the United Forum. Have a good night, a blessed